Alligator. It lives 50 feet beneath the city. It's 36 feet long and it weighs 2,000 pounds and it's about to break out.
Coming to you from a basement studio somewhere down under. It's the 80s Show with Australia's Retro Man. On tonight's show, Retro Man puts the spotlight on the Alligator Blu-ray. Well, what are we waiting for? Lights, camera, Retro Man!
G'day viewers, Retro Man here, and welcome to another episode of the 80s Show. Now today I'll be doing a Blu-ray spotlight on the 1980 creature feature, Alligator. This release is from Shout Factory. Now back in the mid-70s, creature features were all the rage because there was this ginormous film that came out. You've probably heard about it. It was called Jaws, directed by Steven Spielberg. Now the enormous success of that film led to other films like Grizzly, which was about a bear, Piranha, killer fish, and of course this one here, Alligator. Now the premise of this film revolves around a teenage girl who goes on vacation to Florida and picks up a baby alligator who she takes home, and then one day her father happens to flush it down the toilet, and then the film cuts till about 12 years later where we discover that this alligator is living in the sewers and has grown to 36 feet long and about 2,000 pounds in weight, and it's ready to cause havoc on the city. Now Alligator stars Robert Forster. He was a working actor in the 70s. He didn't quite hit star status, but in this film he's the star and he does quite an admirable job. He's very similar to, say, Roy Schneider in Jaws. He plays it straight, he gets the job done, and he's an investigator that sort of travels around the city trying to work out what's going on with this thing here. There's all these bodies piling up and he's wondering to himself, I wonder how this came about. And then he suddenly discovers one day when he goes down the sewer that there's something lurking beneath the city. Now, I did an unboxing video on this a little while back. You may have seen that. And I said in that video that I'd never seen this film before. That's right. And I've only just watched it the other night and it was quite entertaining. Now, don't expect the quality of Jaws, but expect lots of frills and spills, a little bit of, say, dismemberment and attack scenes and limbs flying off and that sort of thing. You're sure to get a giggle with Alligator. In fact, some of you might be shocked. And the one thing that I find refreshing about this style of film is that it's old school filmmaking. It doesn't rely on CGI. There's a hokiness to the effects here, but it doesn't matter. We all know it's fun. Even though this film does play it straight, it's not exactly a spoof, but we know these cheesy, campy type of creature features are meant to not be taken seriously, and we just go along for the ride. Now, Alligator was directed by Lewis Teague, the guy responsible for the Romancing the Stone sequel, The Jewel of the Nile. You know, that film with Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner? I'm sure you do. You know, Jack Colton and Joan Wilder romancing a new kind of stone. That was the marketing tagline. And I have that also. And Lewis is quite an accomplished director. He's not exactly the one that first springs to mind when you think of directors, but the other film that he was famous for was Stephen King's Cujo. So he actually didn't mind creature features. Now this Shout Factory edition comes with a 4K disc and 2 Blu-ray discs, 3 in total. Now the first Blu-ray comes with the theatrical cut of the film and a whole host of extras, and the second Blu-ray comes with a TV print of the film. Now this film looks great. It contains a 4K scan from the original negative. Now let's take a look at the Blu-ray menu and discover some of the special features. Now the one that really stands out here, the big takeaway from this disc, is the documentary/interview with Breaking Bad's Bryan Cranston. Amazingly, he does not appear in the film, but he was working on the set, and he tells some very interesting little stories, including an anecdote about the day that he met Robert Forster, the star of this. He happened to be travelling to the set on a bus, and then unexpectedly the bus stopped and Robert Forster jumped in and sat beside him, and he was a little starstruck, old Cranston, and he said he was a rather nice guy. And then many years later the two of them met on a TV set, and Cranston actually looked over at Forster and said, "Do you remember me?" And Forster said, "Not really." And Cranston explained that he met him on that bus to the Alligator set that day. And he said, "And how was I?" And he said that he was polite and so forth. So he couldn't remember the incident, but Forster was very pleased to find out that Cranston's recollection of the event was a positive one. So that's great to listen to, and let's have a look at the other extras now. What's this one? Everybody in the Pool with actress Robin Riker. Wild in the Streets with director Lewis Teague. Luck of the Gator with special effects artist Robert Short. It Walks Among Us with screenwriter John Sayles. Alligator Author with screenwriter John Sayles. What have we got on this side? TV cut with additional scenes. Teaser trailer. Theatrical trailer. TV spots. Trailers from Hell. Newsprint ad gallery and still gallery. Well, that's your bonuses. Now, during my unboxing video for Alligator, I mentioned at one point that this film was never released on DVD. I was actually referring to Australia. It had never been released before in Australia, but it had received, I think, a DVD release in America at one point and the UK. But this film has been lost in Australia ever since the early 1980s and those good old video store days. So it was an absolute pleasure to check out Alligator for the very first time on Blu-ray. Well, there you have it, Alligator Collector's Edition from Shout Factory, 3 discs of 4K, 2 Blu-rays. It's a great watch. I'd never seen this film before. I've discovered it now for the first time. It was very enjoyable. If you like your creature features, some refer to them as thrillers. Others tend to look at this style of film as a horror. Call it what you will. It's entertaining. And I think Robert Forster did a very good job in this one. So Alligator, have you seen it? Do you own the Blu-ray? Tell us what you think in the comments below. And thanks for watching, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. This is Retro Man, living the dream, 80s style. Stay gold.
Thanks for watching. Retro Man will return faster than a boomerang and more powerful than the 2 King Kongs in King Kong Lives. And remember, please subscribe. Good night.